Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Dr. Munawar Hussain, and you are watching Diplomatic and Current Affairs. And this is very useful channel for our students who are appearing in CSS. So if you have not subscribed the channel, I would request subscribe it. Today with us, Dr. Mubin Shah. He is a known figure of Kashmir, Indian occupied Kashmir, living in Turkey, very successful businessman. Thank you very much, Shah Saab. Shah Saab, how do you see the visit of Prime Minister Modi in the Middle Eastern countries, especially Qatar, Saudi Arab, and UAE? Do you see it as a successful trip, and it would help Prime Minister Modi to be elected again as a Prime Minister of India?
Walaikum salam, sir. It is very nice of you to give me the opportunity to speak on this platform, and particularly for us Kashmiris to have a voice and in a way to communicate our viewpoint on different issues, and particularly international relations vis-a-vis India and other countries and Pakistan for that matter. So in regard to this visit, which is, going to, I think he's going to UAE and Qatar. I don't think he's going to Saudi Arabia, but maybe.
But they have a deal with Saudi Arabia as well, the business deal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what we can see that it shows not the failure. I cannot say the failure of diplomacy on the Pakistan side, but it is the thing that the Arab countries, particularly these three countries, UAE and Qatar, will try to have more relations with India because of the economic clout India has, number one. And number two is this thing also that we have to understand that in this world, economy, money is taking precedence over other things.
Very important point.
And for which we have to counter it in different manners, because I will just give you an example that, on one side, as far as preliminary reports of this visit, particularly to UAE, on one side, Mr. Modi is going to inaugurate a temple there, which will be, I think, one of the first temples which is sort of promoted and which has been established with full support of the government of UAE. And on the other side, you have Muslims, their mosques are being razed to the ground in India, and the latest big show was put up for the mosque which was raised before by the same elements, BJP, in UP. And the thing is, doesn't it look like that where they are heading to is only money is the only criteria for everything? So this needs to be thought by people. I was recently, I attended a conference on Palestine, and you might have also seen my tweet there that where I enumerated my experience in 1990s when India had a plan to do carpet bombing of our interior city called the Shahid Khas, and I mentioned it before also. And Pakistan, through the United States of America, gave a warning to India that if in 1990s we have to understand that India and Pakistan were almost at parity in at least in defense and all. So it was not, India was not as strong as it is today. And by that warning, India desisted from doing what Israel has done in Gaza recently after October 7th. So no Muslim country, OIC country, has come up with a plan to stop this genocide in Palestine. And I had written in my tweet that, you know, in even a group of OIC countries, like 2 or 3 which are strong, you know, for example, you have Pakistan, you have Turkey, you have Egypt, army-wise, and Saudi Arabia to a certain extent, and you know, even only 2 or 3 countries would give a warning that, you know, we will not allow the airspace of Gaza to be used by the Israeli Air Force, and they will be under attack from us. A lot of things would have changed. A lot of things would have changed. We would have not had this type of genocide. So I am taking this into this context, that on one side, Modi ji is finishing the mosques and all these things, raising into ground into India. Not to speak about, I'm not, you know, if I compare now Kashmir, then it's something different. But even in India itself, and on the other side, unfortunately, these countries are welcoming the same man and allowing for inauguration of a temple, and it is going to be, as per what I saw from the report, is going to be one of the high points of the visit, besides the other things. So I was reading one of the commentators, C. Raja Raman. He said we have 5 now. They are focusing on 5 points. You know, diplomatic, political domain, and no religion, and all that. And the last and most important, which has written, is defense. He says now these countries, which you say UAE, Saudi, and Qatar and all, they are looking towards India to give a regional security provider. They will be the regional security provider. India is projected as a regional security provider for these countries. Against whom? Will India go against Israel? Who are the threats? That is Iran. For example, these 3 countries, not Qatar, at least UAE and Saudi Arabia, the only danger they have from attack from Iran. Do these guys who are ruling these countries think that this India will give them security against Iran?
But if there is a rapprochement, Dr. Saab, if there is a rapprochement between Iran and Saudi Arabia, why Saudis they would feel threatened from Iran now?
That is what I am saying. So if India is going and telling them that, you know, that we are going to be in the regional defense, maybe because I think, you know, yeah, it may be against Yemen. If not Iran, Yemen, you know. So because Pakistan refused to go to Yemen, you know, and last time they had requested for the necessary army personnel, and so now you know, you may one fine day, after some time, you may also get to know that the Indian army is going to raise a fully Muslim division to safeguard Makkah and Medina.
And this is going to happen, I think, because there is a political sharp instability. We expected that the election would bring stability. Unfortunately, the situation is where we are going towards more instability. And the deal that I was talking about with you before this vlog, that Saudis, they have signed a defense deal with India, and they would sell, Indians would sell shells to Saudi Arabia of millions of dollars. And you talked about, Shahzad, here the religious factor. That economic factor, in fact, is taking the lead in diplomacy. And since 2014, it is the 15th trip of Prime Minister Modi to Middle East. And this remained very successful. I mean, it brought closer to both nations, at least, the Middle Eastern nations and the India. How do you see the factor of religion? Now we are just giving up our religion and belief system. As you mentioned that mosques are being raised in India and mandars are being constructed in the Muslim world. And it is not only in UAE, but one is being constructed in United States of America as well.
No, we leave aside the United States of America because United States of America, other religions are also given free way and all that. But
But at least it is
but
telling
we
that India is enhancing its religious influence. This is religious
yes,
diplomacy as well. Yeah.
yes. You see, the thing is that if you can, because I have also lived in the Middle East. I used to have a business in Dubai, and we have to see to the psychology of the Arabs in that respect. Number one is you have to see the profile of the workers in these countries, which is full of Indians. They have more workers, and then let us say Pakistan or Bangladesh for that matter. Bangladesh also to a certain extent, but at the same time, you will be surprised that in lot of jobs they will prefer Indians. Why? There was a reason behind it. Because I asked sometimes, I said, why you people are preferring this? He said, they are very submissive.
Oh.
If you take a Pakistani, he is particularly from the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa area. They do not. They are very, what you call as that Gairatmand log hai. They will come back and sort of make. They will not agree to certain things which we.
Martial
So this is
race.
one. Yes. So they will prefer, and particularly from South India, not North. Particularly South, because South Indians are more submissive, more. But in that process, what has happened is that a lot of Hindus have gone there, and in that case, in the Hindus, except for Kerala, which is a Muslim-dominated area in the south, from other areas, the Hindus have gone, and they are naturally bringing their culture inside. And then you see Bollywood, as a social and as a cultural thing, and you can see, for example, Shah Rukh Khan and these Khans or whatever actors of Indian
But
actors.
they are Muslims. Shah, they are Muslims. They are not.
No, I am not saying they are not Muslims. They are Muslims, but the Indian culture is being brought. The point is that
Exactly.
that is the thing. So though that is, if you see an Indian movie, you will have a temple invariably in one of the scenes. That means you are promoting idol worship. In a sense, this is the culmination of that. Culmination is that you have a in UAE, and now I think in Saudi Arabia also they are making a temple. As such, I am not a person who will say, this religion should not be there, this should not. But the point is that if the government promotes it, number one, government promotes it, not the people of UAE, the basic people of UAE, the basic people of Saudi Arabia. The government is promoting it. What does it signal? It signals things are changing to such an extent, and that it will be a completely different Middle East after 5 years or 7 years and all that. So it has pluses and minuses, but at the same time, these are the things to be pondered upon, and particularly if economic is one part of it. Economic is one part of it. You see, I mentioned, I think, in one of your blogs, in 2014 when we had floods. So I, as part of a civil society group, went to Delhi to meet all the OIC country ambassadors. And, we had a meeting with the then ambassador of Iran in Delhi. And then he told that, we will help this, that, but he said, we may not be able to do it officially. We said, we don't want without officially. We want officially. We are an organization which is not doing some unofficial work. He said, no, we have then NGOs there. We can help through that, but we cannot do it officially because he told, in a private discussion, he told India is our biggest buyer of oil. So we can't, and you can understand Iran has had restrictions and had sanctions. And India was the biggest customer. We have to understand this.
The economic factor is very important here.
Yes, but we have to also understand this, that all the countries allowed India to do trade with Iran, allowed the trade to do with Russia, and India took advantage. Pakistan cannot do trade of gas, Iranian gas. Oh, there is sanctions. You have to do clandestine trade. Whatever trade is happening on the borders of Iran, clandestine trade, not legal trade in a way.
Dr. Saab, why this is so in the case of Pakistan?
I think, it is most probably because, as rightly said, that, you don't have an independent foreign policy. Your foreign policy is dictated by others.
Why?
Because of the strength of your political power. Because I can say this thing very clearly, that it is all determined in United States of America, for that matter, or
I think, Shaza,
West.
my understanding is that we always blame America and the West, but actually the reality is that our people, they have vested interest there in the Western world. They have properties there. Their kids are being educated there. They are sending their money there. So therefore, they are framing such policies to please the West. It is not the West that compelling Pakistan to do this, but we.
Yeah, you are right. But the thing is that when you give that space, when you give that
Yes,
space
you are right.
to.
We have given the space. Yeah.
Yes, you are given the space, and it is exploited. When I used to go to the United States, because one of my sons is a U.S. citizen, I would see Pakistanis. They are doing very well in that country, but a lot of them were people, either children of bureaucrats or ambassadors or army people. I'm not labeling them like that, but they had a vested interest because they want education. Good. It is good that you have education from America, from everything, because it is a place to have. But then get dictated to what you will do as a country is the problem. And this is where India has played it very carefully and correctly, and it should be, because they also have a very big population in the United States. They have also been there, but the class which has gone there is not from the elite. It is from people who have got educated, gone there. They are not those people who in Pakistan. It is more of an elite capture rather than the other way around. So actually, the Indians who are working in the United States and all, they are not from the elite, aspect. There are so many of them who have come from very, very very different backgrounds in India, and particularly from the South and all. But they naturally, but the question is, that country cannot dictate terms to India in that respect. What Pakistan is being dictated. That is why you have to have a very important independent foreign policy, and for that independent foreign policy, we have to have the economic strength to bear it.
Acha Shah Sahab, the influence of Prime Minister Modi has increased in the whole world, and especially in the Middle Eastern countries, because he got, I think, awards from so many Middle Eastern countries. And in that case, where there is instability in Pakistan, economically it is weak, and the image of Pakistan is being tarnished. What we are doing here within our country, look at, for instance, international media. And on the other hand side, the Indian perception is going very positive. Now, Modi Saab has successfully got back the 9 naval officers of India who were arrested in Qatar because of espionage. So, how do you see this very situation affecting the Kashmir cause?
You see, in the case of Qatar, for example, this is exactly what you are saying, that the clout of India has increased, because if Qatar, like a state who where people are being arrested for espionage, and it was completely, then they were supposed to be hanged as per the law, and the next day you find them in India, back free from decree from the ruler or whatever it is. What does that signal you? It signals to everybody that India has so much clout that they can get our people out. Of such, you see, one is, for example, if I remember correctly, when in one of the speeches when this MBS was in Pakistan, and the then Prime Minister requested him that a lot of Pakistanis are jailed and all, and they be released. I think a lot of them were released based on that. But there might have not been a single case of espionage against Saudi Arabia. This is a very serious matter.
Yeah,
that they were
exactly.
doing espionage and they are now released because of the clout of India. Now, what is the effect of all
It
this?
is clout of India on the one side, and on the other side, the weakness of the Muslim world.
Exactly. So this is where this thing comes of the regional security provider. What has happened in this period of that they are relying now going to rely more on India than on a Muslim country like Pakistan, for example. There has to be some soul searching, number one. Number two is what is happening in Pakistan today. We are ashamed ourselves, ashamed in the sense that whatever the reports are internationally, we see international reports. I am not there, but I see what is on Twitter, what is on Facebook, and then we see the proof also being given, and somebody told me the other day that, you should not comment about Pakistan. Your Twitter handle is showing a lot of things about Pakistan and all. I said, for me, I am a deemed Pakistani, number one. I have equal rights than as a Pakistan. If I am deemed Pakistani, I have equal right as a Pakistani to comment about what is happening in Pakistan. And my belief and my movement and everything is based on the will of people. The whole model of right of self-determination is on the will of the people. If I feel that the country which I feel is, till it is decided that I am a part of it, the will of people is being blocked, what will I react like? Any person will also react the way I am reacting. If the will of people is stopped, it has consequences for everybody, not only for Pakistan but also for Kashmir issue. Because when I will internationally talk to anybody, they will say, "Oh, what did Pakistan do? What did these people do?" So I have every right to speak on it. At the same time, we are sad. We are sad that this was an opportunity. Today, the elections were there. It was an opportunity to show to the world that, the will of the people is paramount than anything else. But unfortunately, till today, the reports are contrary to it. They are contrary to it. Now, whether these are facts or these are but you people have to decide, and, time will tell. But whatever the proof is in front, for example, I did not know that, I came to know also this 45, you give 45, then you give 47 forms. And at the face of it, if it is 45 forms of having something, they should be honored. And because I believe that the will of the people is paramount than anything else.
I think, Shahzab, this is the only way where people they can show off their grievances, and if we would block it, uh, God forbid, I mean, it may lead people to be frustrated and to lose their trust on the future of the Pakistan.
No, I wrote also in one of my tweets, if you go through my Twitter handle, I wrote that in 1987, what led to, 1987, we had an election in Kashmir, in Indian-occupied Kashmir, because the youth at that point of time had thought that we can change the Kashmir issue if we go and be present in the assembly. You see, it was a thought process. Who is today the chief of the Hizbul Mujahideen? He was one of the candidates. in that election. Yasin Malik was his polling agent. Yeah, Mr. Salahuddin and Yasin Malik was his polling agent. And then when they saw, they were arrested, they were beaten, they were by a police officer, and Yasin Malik and other people were put in behind bars. And those formed the core group, 5 people first, who said that, we can't get it through this, we'll get it through armed rebellion, armed resistance. And that is how armed resistance started. But, in our case, it was okay, we are occupied. We are occupied, we have a way that we should go for armed resistance in such circumstances. But not in Pakistan. In Pakistan, it's your own people. It is your own thing. You have to give the free will to the people of Pakistan to decide what they want. They may make a mistake. If they make a mistake, within 2 years, the whole thing will again crumble and a new person will come. What is the big deal about it? If they cannot handle the state, they cannot handle this thing. So this is where I have a difference of with my people, particularly Kashmir. They would send to me, now you are opening 2 fronts. One is from India, another is from Pakistan. I said, no, I am not opening 2 fronts. I am telling what it should be. As a well-wisher of Pakistan, well-wisher, because we Kashmiris feel that this is the only country which is helping us at this, openly, and they have, lot of martyrs for Kashmir in Pakistan also. We can't say that no, we have as much pain as a Pakistani will have if something wrong happens in Pakistan. And when my whole movement is based on will of people, right of self-determination is what? Will of people.
Yes. You are absolutely right, Shah Sahab. And this is our religion that says that if somebody is identifying your gray areas, he is your real friend. And in democracy, we believe that opposition's main responsibility is to identify the gray areas of the government so that the governance could be or should be improved. Thank you very much for your time, Shah Sahab. Next week, again, we would have a show on a different topic, inshallah. Viewers, you have listened Mubin Shah Sahab, and hopefully you have liked it. If you have not subscribed the channel, please subscribe it. Thank you very much for watching this video. Allah Hafiz.